Hello, this is Shadow of the Moon, and today I'm going to be doing an updated deck profile of my Red Eyes Black Dragon deck for December of 2021. I posted a video up of this a couple months ago for showing off the Red Eyes Black Dragon deck for the Halloween theme that I was doing from deck profiles, and I since then have upgraded it, and I felt like I've actually made it a lot better. It is more focused heavily on special summoning of the level 7 monsters, so the idea and the strategy is to either you're going to get a combination of your Dragoon out, or you're going to get Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon out, or Red Eyes Metal Flare Dragon out. And honestly, if you cannot afford Red Eyes Dark Dragoon, that is completely okay. If you wanted to use any of the substitutes like Red Eyes Slash Dragon or the other fusion, the Red Eyes Meteor Impact or whatever, you can totally use that. That is up to you as a player. That's just player preference. But if you do have Dragoon, then this is going to be a build that you can also do. So this deck is a lot of fun because it is just ridiculously fast at how quick you can bring out the level 7 monsters on the field. And yes, this deck does brick a lot. It can, only because you're focusing on level 7, so the idea is to get cards like Noctovision Dragon, Ascendant of the Thunder out and stuff on the field by paying 3,000 life points and being able to just get your level 7s out to get into your Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Alright, so without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. And I just want to say thank you to my new subscribers. I want to thank you guys always, every single time that you subscribe to my channel, watch my videos and stuff, and just upvote it, comment, just whatever. It's really, really nice, and I really always do appreciate it from the bottom of my heart. Thank you so much. Alright, so with that, any further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So first, you're going to have the main 3 copies of your Red Eyes Black Dragon. This is going to be the main monster of the deck. This is what you're using. It's 2400, a ferocious dragon with a deadly attack. And when they do mean deadly, they do mean deadly, trust me. Okay, so for this build, I knocked down the Red Eyes alternative to 1. Reason being, cards like Rare Metal Dragon or cards like Blackstone of Legend weren't really working with it because you have to have a card that specifically lists Red Eyes in its name. And if you don't, then you're not able to really bring this out, special summon it, and it becomes pretty much like a dead draw. So I knocked it down to 1, but it's still got this, it's still really, really good. Special summon by tributing a Red Eyes monster on the field, and it's still a very, very good card in my opinion, trust me. And then we have the Red Eyes Black Flare Dragon, which is going to be a substitute. It's basically a Red Eyes Gemini, and if a damage calculator is performed involving this card at the end of the battle phase, you can inflict damage to your opponent equal to this card's original attack. So when it becomes a Gemini or when it becomes an effect monster, you can do damage based off the original attack, meaning you can do the 2400 damage, kind of like Inferno Fire Blast. Right, and then one of the newer cards we have in here, Malefic Red Eyes Black Dragon. Now, you're probably wondering, wait, why do you have that in your deck? Well, for one thing, by banishing a Red Eyes, you can special summon this from your hand if you have a field spell. This is a very good way to get a level 7 out and stuff, and all in all, as long as you've got the field spell, which I do have in this deck, it's an easy special summon, and trust me, also, it can be used to be discarded, used to get in Red Eyes alternative Black Dragon out onto the field, so should not have a problem. Alright, and then we have 1 copy. So you are running 6 still. The only difference is I knocked down the Red Eyes alternative to 1 and replaced it with Malefic. Then we've got 1 copy of Red Eyes Wyvern. This is a very underrated card and very good. If you have not normal summoned or special summoned this turn, you can special summon a Red Eyes monster from your graveyard except Red Eyes Black. Check. Alright. And then I'm still running the 3 copies of the Blackstone of Legend. This is still a very, very good card. This is one of the best cards actually in the deck. So what it does is, if you have this on the field, you tribute it to special summon a Red Eyes Black Dragon from your deck. And also, if this is in your graveyard, you can, if you have a Red Eyes Black Dragon in the graveyard, you can add this card back to your hand. But you can only use one of those effects once per turn. But the main objective is to be able to get this out. This is going to be your normal summon. This is generally what you're going to want to use for your normal summon. Special summon it, Red Eyes Black Dragon by tributing it, and then going forth and going into your Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. Alright, and then we've got 3 copies of Black Metal Dragon. So this can be equipped to a Red Eyes monster from your hand. And also has this another effect that it gains it to 600 attack. If this card is sent to the graveyard, field to the graveyard, or from the field to the graveyard, you can add a Red Eyes monster from your deck to your hand. So this is a good way to synergy to be able to bring Red Eyes from your deck to your hand and keep continuing to play. Very, very good synergy in this deck. And then obviously the Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon. This is going to be a good way to bring back your Red Eyes monsters from the graveyard by tributing one from the field. You can special summon this from your hand, and then this can special summon a Red Eyes monster from the graveyard. Or any dragon type monster. Alright, so that's going to be it for the Red Eyes cards. Now we have the tech cards, and there are going to be quite a bit of them. You've got 3 copies of Tenyu Spirit Vishuda, which is essentially, in my opinion, a Red Eyes. It's a worm monster, but if you control no effect monsters, you can special summon this card from your hand. And that becomes a great level 7 extender for this deck to be able to go into your those level plays. Then you have 2 copies of Noctovision Dragon. If you special summon a level 7 Dark Dragon type monster, you can special summon this card from your hand. So this is, once again, have it in your hand, you special summon, get a Red Eyes Black Dragon on the field, and then special summon this directly from your hand. Okay, and then the new boy in town, the Ascendant of Thunder. Now, okay, bear with me. I know this is going to be different, and honestly, though, this is probably, in my opinion, well worth it. You do pay 3,000 life points, but you can special summon this from your hand, and this is not once per turn. So if you don't feel like wasting, you can totally get that. If you want to get the Flare Metal Dragon out on the field, you pay 3,000 and special summon this from your hand, and it is a level 7. So yes, it is a steep price to pay, but it's got a great secondary effect that if this card is under its owner's control, is destroyed by an opponent's card or by battle, you can gain 5,000 life points. So you do get it back if they do destroy it that way. But mainly you're going to be using it to get all those sweet level 7 monsters on the field as quickly as possible to be able to go into your plays. Alright. And then we have 1 copy of Tempest, Dragon Ruler of the Storms. This is a great tech card because this can be special summoned by sending 2 dragon type monsters onto the field or in your hand. And then also, if you have this in your graveyard, you can banish 2 dragon-type monsters from your graveyard to special summon it. So this is a really easy way to get this on the field and also be able to keep going into those level 7s. That's why I'm running so many level 7s in this deck, because they can all be special summoned, and it's easy to be able to get 2 Flare Metal Dragons out on the field and Dragoon at the exact same time with this deck. Alright, so then you've got 1 copy of Rocket Synchron. If you have this card, if you can special summon a level 7 monster from your graveyard and go into your Beelzebub of the Diabolic Dragons, or you can go into your Draco Berserker of the Tenyi if that is what you choose. And then lastly, you're going to be running the Dark Magician if you're playing Dragoon, because you have to have the other piece for it. Alright, so that's going to be it for the monsters, guys. Let's move on to the spells and traps. So first we're running the 1 Red Eyes Fusion. This is standard. You do not want to see the Dark Magician pretty much in your hand. This is not so much, it's not as big of a deal and everything, but this is how you're going to get your Red Eyes Fusion monster out onto the field. And then 3 copies of Super Poly, great to be able to take your opponent monsters, be able to take Nibiru, be able to take Dragoon themselves, being able to take whatever to be able to go into your Fusion monster, which is essentially going to be probably Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. Then you've got 3 copies of Allure of Darkness. This is going to draw into your cards and get into your plays very quickly. That's what you're going to use them for. Then you've got 3 copies of Return of the Dragon Lords. This is going to special summon your level 7 or 8 dragon type monster from your graveyard, and then if it would be destroyed by battle or by card effect, you can banish this card instead. So it's a great way to be able to protect it. And then we've got 2 copies of Dragon Shrine. This is going to dump your Red Eyes monsters into the graveyard, so you're going to dump first your Red Eyes Black Dragon, and then you're going to put in a secondary dragon, so you can use Tempest, you can take out Tempest, you can put in Blackstone Legend, whatever you choose, you can put that into the graveyard to start bringing them out using your other cards. And then you've got your Dragon Ravine. This is going to be your 1 and only field spell. Once per turn, you can discard a card and activate one of these the following effects. So you're going to be going for the secondary, which is sending a Dragon-type monster from your deck to the graveyard. That's what you want to do. You want to be able to get them into the field, turbo them into the graveyard, so you can go into your big plays. Alright, and then we've got 1 copy of 1 for 1. Discard a monster to special summon a level 1, meaning your Blackstone Legend. 1 Monster Reborn to be able to bring back your monsters from the graveyard or your opponents. And then that's it for the spells. We're going to be moving on to the traps. We only play 1 trap in here, Red Eyes Fang with Chain. This is a great card because this could potentially increase your attack based off the monster that was destroyed with this card, meaning if you had a Red Eyes and then you summon a other one, you can basically make it a 4800 or whatever monster you have with it. Great card to be able to use in this deck. This is why I didn't want to cut it. I cut the other two because Red Eyes Spirit, a Red Eyes Return, and then like Trial Red Eyes weren't that good. You could still use them if you wanted to, that's up to you, but just personally in this build, I felt like they were more of like the weaker options. Alright, so that's going to be it for the main deck, guys. Let's move on to the extra deck. So first we have the Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. This is going to be your main negator. This is going to really help you in your games. By discarding a card, you can negate a spell, trap, or monster effect, and increase the attack by 1,000 to 4,000, and also this cannot be targeted or destroyed by battle or by card effects. Alright, and then you have Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This is going to be your main target for Super Poly. On top of your Mud Dragon of the Swamp, this is also going to be another target. Then you have your Beelzebub of the Diabolic Dragons. I thought this was so cool to be able to get this into the deck, because if you have this, they cannot really run this over because it cannot be destroyed by battle or by card effect. So if you put it in defense mode, they're going to have a really hard time getting through it. And then the main thing on the deck, one of the reasons that you want to run these is 3 copies of Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. So essentially what this guy will do is you get 2 of these on the field and your opponent is being burned 500 points every single time they so much as breathe. Activate a card effect, activate a card or an effect, do whatever, they're going to lose the 500. And that is really good, especially against those combo decks, because if they're always constantly using those effects and stuff, you're going to be doing 500, and if you have 2, that's going to be doing 1,000. So they only have about 8 different moves that they can make if you have 2 of these on the field before you burn them out. So I love this card because of that. It's so great. And then 1 copy of Big Eye to be able to take your opponent's monster. And then you have Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Phoenix. This is going to be used to pop spells and traps and spin stuff. And then the new card that I added in here is going to be Dragunity Knight Romulus. This is going to essentially be a way to be able to get Dragon Ravine from your deck and be able to activate it onto the field, so you can start sending your Dragon type monsters into the graveyard to go into your plays. And then Heretic Seal of the Heavenly Spheres. Really good card in this deck. And then obviously Predaplant Verte Anaconda. That's how it makes this deck work. Link Spider. This is going to be a good way to get from your Red Eyes to summon this, and this will count as an effect monster for Anaconda. And then lastly, you have your Link Karibo, so if you're running any problems, you can basically get rid of the battle damage, and then you contribute a level 1 monster to special summon this back from the graveyard. Okay, so that's going to be it for this deck profile. I do plan on uploading a testing and combo video for this, so that way I actually had one planned for the last deck profile, but I chose to hold off on it after I changed it because I thought that this would be a little better. This deck, I love it because it runs so smoothly. It's so easy to be able to get these level 7s out, and mainly that's what you're wanting to do for this deck, is you're wanting to get those level 7s to be able to go into your bigger plays. And yeah, your opponent can stop them if they negate it, and it can kind of cut a problem. And obviously this deck can brick at times, yes, but any of these high level decks do. And obviously if you draw Dark Magician, that's going to be another way you're going to end up bricking. But the idea is to just go in swinging and make sure that you burn them for as much damage as possible. Alright, so that's going to be it for this deck profile. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and that you guys stay safe. And with that, see you guys next time.